As you can imagine, I'm always thinking, so I come up with a lot of crazy ideas that I would implement if I had the time and or resources to, but there's only a finite number of things I can put my mind to and actually get accomplished, and that number right now happens to be about 2 per year. My God, there's fucking bullshit. So I'm gonna give you for free a whole bunch of my business plan ideas so that you can put them to good use. I'm in a rental car right now, and my boots are fucking huge, much larger than these pedals, and I keep accidentally hitting the brake while I'm hitting the gas, and the car is like really sensitive to that because, you know, Toyota's unintended acceleration. This is a Ford though, and they really want to make sure you don't press on both fucking pedals at the same time. It's like those crazy Nintendo games that do weird things if you hold left and right down at the same time, because physically it's impossible. Okay, so the first one is someone please create a company where I can forward my snail mail and you go through it, and based on logic that I define, you either throw it away, scan it in and email it to me, or forward it back to me physically based on whether I want it or not. There are so many companies that are wasting resources. Whether or not it's their resources to waste, that's one thing, but they're wasting so many natural resources sending fucking spam that no one even reads. They don't even open the envelope. I want to do a study on how much physical spam people actually open versus throw away. And keep in mind, even if you read it, it's still fucking, you still wasted the paper. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that wasting paper is not the end of the environment, and the trees that you're wasting were grown to make paper. But Jesus Christ, the ink and the sludge and all the other environmental problems don't help. And I have a real big passive aggression against the post office because, as you know from that 1989 Seinfeld episode, actually I think it's a 1996 Seinfeld episode, you cannot cancel the mail. Even if you are done with the mail, you have moved your entire life over to using the internet for every other possible purpose, and you don't even use USPS for packages, they will not stop the mail for you. You cannot say, I unsubscribe, I don't want your service, get off my property. It's impossible. I hate the post office, I hate them, I hope they went out of business, but that's impossible because they're funded by the Senate. Vigilante as a service. I want an API where I can say, hey look, here's some shit that should be dealt with. Please deal with it. Delivery gas. I'm serious, delivery gas. You sign up for a subscription service and every day you go to your car, it is topped off. In the middle of the night, someone tops off your gas tank for you. You didn't have to go to a gas station, you didn't even have to open your car. Now, if you have one of those gas tanks that locks, you might have to leave it open or give us a key. Money, 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 money. Ultra, the universal train-to-road adapter. A train drives onto the Ultra, and then the Ultra drives onto the road, and it allows the train to drive onto the road because trains can normally only go where there's rail. I'm in a rental, so I don't have any docks or holders or anything. It's really bad.
Not sure how to help with. It's really bad.
Shut up. People that make cars should make a place for your phone to go. You know why? Because if you don't, people are gonna put it in their lap and on their hand and try to balance it on that thing, or try to put it on the shifter, try to fucking hold it with their pinky while they're driving. You can't fucking be like, oh, we don't want people to use their phone while driving, so we're not gonna put a place for it. Because they're gonna use it anyway, and it's gonna be worse. But while you are putting a place in the car for the phone to go, you could add wireless charging, and you could use it as your smart key, and you could do a whole bunch of other fucking things. Tesla's got the right idea. I guess that's their idea. Fuck. Subscription aggregation service. This is something, a company where, let's say there's a product you can only buy with a subscription, like Adobe Photoshop. This company finds a way to turn that into a one-time cost to you. So you buy, you know, a 10-year license of Photoshop, and even though that doesn't exist, this company stays in business long enough to make recurring payments to Adobe on your behalf based on some point-in-time contract you set up. if the price of Adobe Photoshop changes, well, there could be stipulations in there, guarantees for that. Maybe there's an insurance policy. Maybe we call it cloud insurance, so that when software companies decide to charge recurring costs for things that they've only built once, we have a protection against that. As a professional software developer, I have a big problem with software companies and business people that want to now, after 40 years of there being a marketplace, suddenly decide to charge subscription rates and reoccurring prices for software that they've developed once. And I don't give a shit how many updates they have. I don't give a shit how many patches there were, how much continuous development, continuous integration, how much Scrum, Agile, and bullshit buzzwords they use. Your need to release software incrementally in rapid succession is simply because it's cheaper for you. That's not the way software used to be done, and it's not how high-end software that's using carrier-grade systems and in the military is done. It's not how software that has to 1000% work is done either. It's done that way because you're being cheap. You're being cheap in the same way McDonald's and Burger King are cheap. You're using half-baked software because you have the ability to update it on the fly when you find out that it's broken. What if you bought food from McDonald's that wasn't really cooked all the way, and it wasn't until you bit into it and discovered that it wasn't cooked all the way that they took a blowtorch to it and finally cooked it? That's what happens when you buy subscription software that's half-baked, games that aren't even built all the way. Jesus fuck, there should be some insurance I can pay for to make sure that the products I buy stay the products I buy, and to protect me against douchebags like Adobe that are like, hey, you want to be able to read a PDF file? Ha 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 ha! That's a $165 operation, honey. Dude. It's an open standard, and even if it wasn't, fuck off. I want to open a store in the mall where you put your feet into things. I don't have a foot fetish. I just think that people will actually pay to do this. You have, like, you know, these bins, like little sandboxes, and you fill them with all these substances. You know, some of them are really pleasant, like soft sand, baby powder, I don't know, coconut oil, lavender. Some of them are weird things that you've just probably never put your feet into before. Things that are familiar to you but interesting, like a thing full of nuts and bolts, a thing full of tiny screws. I want to run my fingers through squand. I want to run my toes through oatmeal. Those tiny foam balls that jackets are filled with. I want a beanbag chair where I can actually put my feet into the beans. You can have a flat a la carte menu for people that know what they want, but then there should also be like the surprise, you know, the main feature should be the surprise where you pay a flat fee and you get blindfolded, or maybe they just do it under a table or something, and you just put your feet in there. Like, what? Oh, I like that. That's interesting. How would you rate that? There'll be a feedback thing. Maybe they're checking your pulse rate and your I was gonna say blood sugar, but you check your blood sugar. You check it often. I think it would be an interesting time. I mean, I can't imagine people wouldn't at least try it out once. Even if everyone just tried it once, I think it would be a big novelty. I swear to God I don't have a foot fetish. I just think it's absurd and ridiculous. There's just this thing about feet that make things immediately funny. Like, you know those things in the shoe store that are on the floor to test your shoe size? It's called a Brannock device. And I just want to sell them. I want to put them in people's houses, just put them on the floor. I want to put it like just in my living room. Like when you walk into your house, like what if just one of those was on your floor? It would instantly make your carpet feel so much more comfortable, just like when you're in the mall and you can take your shoes off because you're buying new shoes. With that said, I want a store where you can fry your own fried chicken, except not only do you fry it, maybe you don't fry it, maybe some guy works the fryer for you because insurance, but you do bread it yourself. There's like all of these breadings and toppings, and there's panko, there's shake and bake, whatever the fuck you bread fish and chips with. But they're on a Ferris wheel, so they're like on this big carousel, and you can spin it around to get whatever herb or spice you want. But when you move the carousel, you know, they're like little baskets hanging on like a carousel, almost like a rotisserie. And when you move the trays, it makes the beeping sound from the Price is Right. You know, the big wheel. So all it does is it entices people to move the wheel around faster and faster until sooner or later flour and breadcrumbs are all over the fucking place. But it's okay because they paid a flat rate for all those breadcrumbs, and we just suck it up with a vacuum later on and it goes into like dog food or something. I'm on the new Tappan Zee Bridge. there's the other span, and there's the old one all the way to the right. And Jesus Christ, I'm walking on water! Walking on water! Let's open premium bathrooms in the mall that people pay to go into, because the normal bathrooms are gross, and the premium bathrooms, in addition to being extremely clean, because first of all, OCD people, huge market right there. But on top of it, you could have different bathroom stylings. Like for example, for $9.99 you get the Italian styling. Someone's playing Italian music on a violin in the background. You're being fed veal parmesan. The Godfather's playing on TV. The smell of fresh baked bread and deli meats is prevalent. Or maybe there's like a Titanic themed bathroom where like the whole thing starts flooding with water. Oh my god, that would be ridiculous. Back in the olden days, they had, actually I think they still have it, just no one uses it, this thing called person-to-person calling, where you would call the operator and you'd say, hey, I want to talk to Frank at this number. And not only would she call the number for you, but she would ask for Frank and do whatever was necessary to get Frank on the phone and then call you back so that you didn't have to deal with, you know, I don't know, the hassle of getting that person. Because back in the old days, you know, not everyone had a telephone. It could take minutes for someone to be located, you know, from whatever phone number was reaching them. I think there should be person-to-person pizza delivery, where not only does Domino's deliver the pizza to my house, but then they walk in my house and try to find me and give it to me. That way I can get Papa John's on the John. A lot of business ideas include adding the words by the pound onto something, like burgers by the pound, pizza by the pound, rental cars by the pound, what? A restaurant where you not only order food on a touchscreen, but then you actually get to watch them make your food on the same touchscreen. The plates have RFIDs in them, sensors everywhere, so that as they move plates to different stations in the kitchen, the camera tracks it. And the whole thing becomes a video that you can post on YouTube if you want to, because everyone's really fucking good at taking pictures of the food. Taking video of your food's one step better. Just being able to hit a button and not have to do any work, and the whole meal procedure, and then maybe possibly me eating the meal, that would be amazing. While we're on the topic of restaurants, when everyone talks about technology, they talk about being tracked and how privacy is a big thing and they don't want you being tracked, but tracking is a good thing. What if restaurants tracked what you ate, what you were allergic to, and what you liked and didn't like, so that the menu is automatically adapted to food you're not going to eat or you can't eat, or the food you want to eat? What if when you walked into the restaurant, the value meal changed so that, like, instead of, you know, their number two, it was your number two? Whatever the fuck you wanted to be number two would just be number two for you. And then, like, as soon as you stopped using your credit card, the menu goes back to the way it normally is, and, you know, anyone can make an account. And you want to make an account, because if you make an account and you eat food at the restaurant, you just walk the fuck out. You don't need to get a bill or pay a tab or do any of that shit. You walk the fuck out. If there was a service that was exceptional or unexceptional, you go on an app, or maybe you just SMS them a code and you change the tip that way. But no one needs to fucking wait around for the check. This is the 21st century, motherfucker. I actually wrote a whole song about what I would do if I owned a restaurant, but I'm not gonna own a restaurant because that's how small businesses fail. They're restaurants when they have no business being restaurants. I'll come up with technology ideas, you fucking make the food, fuckface. When you sit down at a restaurant, the first thing they ask you is what you want to drink, but that's the last thing on the menu. Maybe they should just give you what there is to drink first, since that's the first thing they're gonna fucking, or you know what, maybe it should be in your profile and they know what you want to drink. I didn't just change my clothes, this is a different day. 6 words. Macaroni and cheese as a service. This one's gonna revolutionize the fishing industry. A remote control submarine drone that looks like a fish, and you can control its mouth so you can go after smaller fish and eat them up. Kind of like that fish in Mario, the big fish just eats you up in one gulp. I hate fishing, like with a fishing rod and with bait, but I would love to fucking go after them on a fucking screen. That's fishing. That's the kind of fucking way I want to catch fish. I see these motels all over the place, like, and you know most of them are there, like they have hourly rates and quickie rates because they're there mostly for sex. So what if there was a motel that had hospital beds that you could tie people down to, and you could control them and position them, and they had instruments on the walls, and you had like medical oxygen and vacuum and I don't know, a heart monitor. I think that would be really interesting. I think people would pay a premium to have the hospital suite with the heart monitor and the restraints on the bed. Don't you? That should be a motel chain. Maybe Ashley Madison could develop it. It could be, some rooms could have hospital beds, some rooms could have dental chairs, some rooms could just have a big sex swing. Heart-shaped hot tub, the Sibian, high voltage terminals. You might have to sign a waiver for that one. And the ultrasonic scaler. I would also pay a premium for a hotel room with a soda fountain in it. For real. A subscription service whereby anytime you travel, no matter where you travel, the service proactively sends ahead a shipment of goodies. They send you like this travel crate that has like, not only does it have better like shampoo, conditioner, and soap than the hotel has, but it also has like awesome candy, bottles of water, all the shit that you don't want to touch because the hotel is going to charge you. Maybe it has like a calling card so you can make phone calls without being charged. I don't know. I think it would be interesting for it to have some subscription service for people that travel a lot that just has shit proactively arrive for them based on their itinerary. Welcome back. A real-time opinion poll API. You send an HTTP request with a question, how many people you want to ask it to, and how fast you need the result. And the response comes back a couple seconds later. You want to know, hey, is plaid still in style? 30 people. It goes out to 30 people. They answer as fast as they can. Is plaid still in style? Yes, it is. No, it's not. You get back a percentage. There you go. That's the answer. I want an honest mechanic. I want someone that you can call that has an 800 number that if your dealer or the factory quotes you a price for something, that you can call them up or text them and say, hey, this is what they say is wrong, and you get the real world price, the non-dealer price. And then, if you want, they'll transfer your car from wherever you are to get your business. They'll give you a ride, set you up with a loaner or a rental or whatever the fuck is appropriate. And guess what? They're open 24 hours a day because cars break down 24 hours a day and ain't no one got time for that. If you want to bring your own parts, they should be okay with that. ASE certified mechanics that know what they're doing on staff at all times. If it doesn't make financial sense for them to be there at all times, then they rotate between locations. I also would like to see vans like how Safelite will come to you to fix your window. Why can't someone come to you to fix your car if you have a sufficient area to do so in? Maybe insurance, I don't know. But I think people would pay a premium to not have to arrange for that. Or at the very least, the mechanic should have free towing. How about that? Free tow with any diagnostic. You pay for the diagnostic, we'll get your car there. How about that? I think that's reasonable. And the diagnostic should be a flat rate, not hourly. It's not diagnosed until you figure out what's wrong. If it takes you 5 hours to figure out what's wrong, maybe you're just a shitty mechanic. There's a good chance if it takes you 5 hours to figure out what's wrong, it'll take you a lot longer to fix it. So it's not like you're losing out on a plethora of common occurrences that take 5 to 8 hours to diagnose but only take 40 seconds to fix, that you have to charge the diagnostic by the hour. I think that's ridiculous. These days the diagnostic is as simple as reading the computer's codes, hooking up to the CAN bus and reading that shit. And such a company should fight for the right to repair. They should fight Tesla in court over shit like that, where you can't repair your car unless you go to a very specific place. That is un-American. There needs to be an honest mechanic that fights for that shit, that fights for the right to repair, fights for the right for the dealer to not be the only one that gets to fuck you up the ass. I'd like to see like Mavis Discount Tire change their name to Mavis Beacon Fixes Cars and start doing that. Stat. Another idea is these candy bracelets are a pain in the ass to make. I would love to make a machine that would automatically sort out the proper beads, hoppers full of beads, of individual beads, and then solenoids kick in and dispense those beads into a thing that arranges them in the right orientation so that an elastic thing can go through them using some type of, what would you call it? Not the bobbin, the shuttle. There's some type of shuttle that goes through the beads, some type of long pin or needle that threads the elastic through. I really don't know, but I mean, this is doable. We can do this. Come on, America, make this shit. You got a 3D printer? Make some of this shit that I want made. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Yeah. If you've liked any of my ideas, even one of them, you should consider watching more of my videos. I won't tell you to like, comment, or subscribe because you should only like the video if you liked it, comment if you have a comment, or subscribe if you want to watch more. You've made it to the end of the video. I'm gonna buy you cream cheese on a bagel if I ever see you in person. Just tell me that you've seen the end of this video. That's a lie. Here's a disclaimer, I'm not gonna buy anyone cream cheese on a bagel. Maybe I will, but it'll be at my discretion.